I like it.
I'm going to take it off because I can't see, but that'll be the whole gag, and then
it's a good visual gag.
We won't have to do it anymore.
You just want me to start? Are you
sure?
Okay. Can you take that off without messing up your
yes
mic situation?
Yes.
All right, here we go. All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA podcast. My name is Keith. Got Tyler Parker coming up later on the show, but I'm joined right now by John Burr. John, how's it going?
Ichiban. Wait a second. Ugh. Where's yours? Take yours off.
Do you want to
have no fear?
Do you want to do a regular hello for people who can't see you?
Oh, it's fine. I just had to take my mask off first.
Oh,
like you do.
A nice, a nice Kyrie
normal behavior
reference. So we can start off.
Parker, that's exciting. He's one of the only. He's like a celebrity to me.
How? Oh, explain. This is great because I get guests on who I consider to be like big time basketball guests.
Yes, and I have no idea.
And you often are like, I don't know who that person is.
And I'm never doing it to make you feel bad. I feel like you think I'm trying to make you feel bad, and I just don't know.
No, I'm always wondering why you, who I think it's fair to say, somewhat pursuing
right
a career in basketball podcasting.
Well, the problem is like with social media, it allows you to like cultivate your own thing to a degree where like my reality just isn't. It's not a real reality.
Right.
So like if you're not in do you remember the Madden games? This was an amazing 1 year thing.
What, the football games?
The quarterback, yes, the Madden games. There was a football cone. There was
you're talking about the passing cone.
The passing cone, yes.
We've talked about this. The controversial passing cone.
Yes. And I think it was like the greatest thing they ever did in the football games ever.
I
actually
loved
made it seem like real football.
I loved it.
Like I wish they do it in basketball games. Like finally having like a like really accurate quarterback mattered because his cone was so much bigger.
I don't know does everyone still remember? I think our listenership, which skews outside of just the TikTok generation,
it's very Tyler Parker-ish,
knows the passing cone. I loved it because like you could have Peyton Manning where you could see the whole field. So there was like a visual cone. This is so you couldn't just like throw it all over the entire field, which is not realistic. You had to choose where you were looking. And then if you were looking at the receiver, your pass would be accurate. If you weren't looking at the receiver, it was an inaccurate pass. So like Peyton Manning could see like 80% of the field.
It's the only Madden game where a player like Peyton Manning was good.
I would use Carolina Panthers third string quarterback, Auburn University alum, Damian Craig. And he had this tiny laser cone.
Dameyyune.
Amazing, you knew how to spell that. And it would only look at like half of a receiver. It couldn't even cover like a full person. And I was good at like just pointing my laser around and hitting this. Yeah, loved it.
Well, my QB vision cones, I have 2 of them, and they're very small. They are people who like basketball who are really funny, and then also David Fincher and Michael Mann films.
Right.
So in this case, the cones actually overlap and only on one place. And that place is Tyler Parker's mind-blowing impression of serial killer What's-His-Nuts from the TV series Mindhunters, a role I actually auditioned for. So he does a better impression of a character that I tried to play than like he's better at a role that I was trying to get paid to play, and he's the best part of that show. And I've only read a few of his columns, and they seemed really funny.
Very funny. Yeah, no, that's amazing. I'm always blown away by the guys that where I feel like you should be less ignorant of some of the people. I'm like, that's a person you should know who they are.
Well, it's just like if they make an impression or not, because I'm just getting old, and if it don't, and a lot of the Twitter guys just turn into like this one giant, like scary Dave DeFore. And it's just more of an energy. And I'm like, oh, I should know this person. I know this person, but I don't know this person. But here's what it is. let's put this on his dust jacket. Tyler Parker is a singular voice.
Oh, I like it.
There you go.
That's good.
Welcome, Tyler.
Let's talk about Aaron Gordon, who signed an extension with the Denver Nuggets. I think sometimes there's hand wringing over the dollar amounts.
Yeah, they're like, wow, $100 million for 10 points a game.
This is. I mean, you can call it the bird rights trap. This is neither good nor bad. This is just business you have to accomplish. This is what you have to do. Right.
This is so what I do as a fan who doesn't understand this aspect of basketball fandom and don't really care.
This is like finding out who are the other professionals in the business.
Exactly. I wait for you. Okay. I wait for you to tell me how to feel about these deals. But I think I think Aaron Gordon is a valuable player and something worth spending money on. And that's typically how I gauge deals is like, is this person worth spending money on? If the answer is no to me, then I get in my fan mode. I'm like, oh, it's too much money. I would have never have.
Yeah.
You know, if I feel like they're worth spending money on, then I don't really look at the number.
I think that actually it's very enlightened to say, is that a valuable NBA player?
Very enlightened by revealing how unenlightened I am.
But I'm saying like I think there can be some black and white to this where it's like, you don't worry about the actual dollar amount. You just say, does that guy fit on our team? Can that guy complement our superstars, in this case, Jokic and Murray? And the answers are yes. So then you just pay him.
Right.
And, you know, I saw some people, I would love our listeners to not do this. Don't fall into this trap. You can't compare this to the Jeremy Grant deal. Jeremy Grant was offered, the Nuggets offered him the same deal the Pistons gave him. Jeremy Grant did not want to play for the Nuggets. So it's not, you can't compare the dollar amounts. Also, we might have a salary cap explosion again, very likely.
It seems like we're going to.
So like this starts
again, people whose names I can't remember have told me that it's going to.
This extension kicks in the 2022-2023 season. So they've locked up Aaron Gordon. They have him under contract for 5 years. It's a guy you can start alongside Jokic. So, I mean, it's just job well done. Like I have no big complaint, 4 year. It's a 4 year, basically $88 million extension. Because some of the bonuses involved, I don't think he's going to make it. All defense first team. Probably not. It would take a pretty,
he is a good defensive player though.
Yeah. He's a totally good, competent guy.
I really like Aaron Gordon a lot more in this role than in the role he was forced into previously. Like, I feel like he's really set up because really his strengths are, other than being the greatest dunker of all time, is defense. And then he's actually like a really good passer for his size. So he kind of fits in with the team. You get that kind of like when they have certain guys out on the court, you get that, like, I know this is overblown, but there's like that 86 Celtics, like everybody is having a good time out there. They had a 7-game stretch before Murray went down where they were. I think you could compare him to the 86 Celtics. I remember we were joking when he first started with the Nuggets, he was trying too hard to make the passes. He was like, this is like an all-star game, and Jokic makes these fun passes. I'm going to try to make fun passes. And it was more like, no. You're competent at passing a basketball, but your skill is cutting and dunking, and just be the wide receiver catching the touchdowns. He really needs to dunk more. For a guy who is the greatest dunker of all time, I would say more dunking.
Yeah,
that would be my advice.
I think it's a fine fit for the Nuggets. It's a necessary bit of business that they got accomplished. So
for us,
job well done there.
Secret Nuggets obsessives, like this is like, windmill slam. You had to do this. You need to get this going again. How just before we leave the Nuggets behind, what is Jamal Murray's injury situation? Is he expected to start the year? Is he? Do you know he's not?
No, I mean the injury occurred
so
the injury occurred near the end of the season. So
they're
almost the whole
situation.
Year, almost the whole year without.
Wow. So their guard situation will be. Who are their three guards they're going to have to rely on?
Monte Morris. They're bringing back Austin Rivers. I'm pretty sure.
That's pretty rough, man. As much
who they're depending on.
No, I don't.
Bones Highland.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That seems bad though.
Hey, Bones was a delight in summer league.
Yeah.
So he'll come along slowly. I guess I wonder if there's anybody else
We've watched enough Monte to know that he's like a very feast or famine type player. So
he's just a solid innings
like,
eater.
If he's your backup point guard, you're like, yes.
Yeah.
If he's your primary facilitator, it's a little terrifying. And we know that Jokic and then all the other 86 Celtics are really good passers, so maybe they can weather it. But it'll be, they're a very different team without Jamal Murray.
I guess we should also say Facundo Campazzo because it's fun.
Yeah,
because it's fun.
And he was important to them at the end of the year last year.
Yeah. So before we get you out of here, Tyler and I talk a little bit about John Wall, who has agreed to not play for the Rockets this year. I'm trying to wrap my head around what would you value or where would you think John Wall would be a good fit if salaries did not exist? If this is just a guy who could pick up on any NBA team, because I have these impressions of John Wall as like albatross contract, frequently hurt. I don't know what he gives you anymore, but it's weird when you look at his stuff last year. He averaged 20 points and 7 assists per game. The Rockets were 9-4 in the first 13 games he played last season. Of course, then they lost the next 14 he played. Okay, what is it?
I think it's the Celtics.
Oh, all right.
I think he could be a facsimile of what Kemba brought to them last year. I think
or a supercharged Schroeder.
Yeah, I mean, he's like probably. I don't even know if supercharged is the right word, just because Schroeder might be his equal now. I don't know. I feel like Schroeder's going to do pretty well in Boston. I feel like the Lakers Schroeder was a bit of a just a terrible.
It was fine.
Fit.
It was fine. Just kind of a rough postseason. Yeah, that's interesting. Is he better now than Schroeder? I think it's a great question.
And I think
I don't know how to answer.
I think the notion of a log jam is a misnomer because the injuries are so prevalent now, and really the difference between like being able to make a magical run has so much to do with health that I think teams are just like, let's stockpile dudes. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares at all? If somebody's just not going to play at all and they'll have to step up if that happens. I think the old notion of if you have two quarterbacks, you have none doesn't really apply with what we know about injuries, especially in this post COVID era.
Here's a wild one. I've chosen mine. If salaries don't,
Houston, say it's Houston.
I do think it's funny that a team that has like
two rookie point guards, basically
playoff aspirations, no true point guards, seems to have a big opportunity for a point guard. And he's like, no, that's not a good fit. I would say backup point guard, sometime maybe super six man for the Golden State Warriors. Stop flirting with Ryan Arcidiacono, Warriors. Get yourself a John Wall to come in to supercharge the team, move Steph over to an off guard. He can clearly play that.
If you're willing to go backup, I think there are even better fits, places like Dallas.
Dallas isn't a terrible one.
I think, if you're willing to me, John Wall's not going to accept a role like that. So I was trying to find a place he could actually start.
Well, I mean, and also he's not going to give up $90 million.
No.
So it's just a fun exercise to help me wrap my brain around it. Well, anyway, John.
Yeah, let me put my Jushin Thunder Liger mask back on, and then we can close out.
Well, thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, see ya.
All right. Do you want me to start I'm fucking shit at podcasts.
That's okay.
Do you want me to start a quick time and then send it to you at the end of this?
I think it will be all right.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, no, I think it'll be totally cool. Just like this. We'll be fine. Right. Make sure this is recording in here. That's good. Yeah. Do you mind if I put this on YouTube?
No, not at all.
Awesome. Cool, man.
That's a great shirt.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, appreciate. Yeah, that's a good one.
Incredible.
Yeah, we kind of overdid it with the
still the best aesthetics.
That retro Grizzlies I designed I had people design. I can't do it. I would like trace over my computer screen with like a piece of paper, like with crayon. I was like, I want to look like this. And then they were like, all right, I got it. Cool, man. I'll record my end here. Did you want me to introduce you as like being from anywhere or with any credential at all?
You can say I'm a Ringer contributor or something like that.
Okay. I mean, I don't have to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, whatever you want to do, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if, I would just say, I mean, I'm joined right now by Tyler Parker.
Yeah, sure.
It can work. Great, man. All right, let's rock and roll. Let's talk about whatever. Cool. We'll get done quick. That's the goal. That's the only goal.
I'm sorry. I fucking hate it when people are like, yeah, I gotta go. I fucking hate it when people do that.
Oh, no, it's amazing. I try not to ever go over 30 minutes. Like, we better be having a great time if we go over 30 minutes.
People should be here like bringing me gifts.
That's right. Yeah. Seriously. Yeah. All right, let's just get this all on the record. I'm joined right now by Tyler Parker, who contributes sometime for the Ringer. Tyler, how's it going?
Good, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. You're very, very polite. You were apologizing profusely before we started about having a conflict where you had to leave after a certain amount of time.
I never like the hard out. It always makes me feel uncomfortable when I'm
saying you have something to do.
You're right.
It's very regular.
You're
like, listen, I have something to do later today. It's like, well, yeah, like that's not.
No, I mean, I'm a weird guy. I have some stuff I have to get done today. You know,
right? Not everyone has that. Like I like to tell people like, oh, I got like a 2 p.m. hard out. That's not true. Like
there's a great Steve Martin bit on Carson once where like he like pretended that he had to go. He's like, Steve's got to go, you know, all right, we'll see you later. And then Carson, you know, he sort of moves on, you know, Martin's walked off. And then as Carson's in the middle of introing the next person, Steve comes back on and he's like weeping. He's like, I didn't have anywhere to go. I just wanted to seem cool.
That's right. Us busy podcasters with our busy podcast lives. Anyway, Tyler, this is your first time on Fastbreak Breakfast. We start off with every guest talking about breakfast.
Great.
Have you had a good breakfast?
I did have a good breakfast. I had 4 chicken minis from Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
yeah.
That's an incredible breakfast.
I was out and about because I took our 4-year-old to school today. And it's located perfectly on the way home for me to be able to just stop by, see if the line's long or not. You know, sometimes the line's too long. You're
in LA, right?
Yeah.
What are the Chick-fil-A lines like in LA? In Tennessee, right. Massive. Always massive.
You can still get a long Chick-fil-A line even out here for sure. Not like I'm from Oklahoma, and they can get, you know, real long there too.
Like high school football game, like around the block.
Right.
Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. They put one. They put one right beside my house.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Chuck, our co-host, ran into Dylan Windler there. Just random facts.
Great.
But they put the one right by my house, and I actually have never been. Like I used to go because it was more of a novelty because there actually wasn't one like inside Nashville.
Right. You don't want to get into the habit of like
it was only in the suburbs, and I did have a tinge of guilt. Like I know, all right, some people tell me I'm not supposed to eat here. It's so expensive because I have to make like an offsetting donation. You know, maybe a charity that works against what Chick-fil-A is working for. So that the cost would add up, but I love it. Like it's great. It's fun to eat. I have kids. It's like going to Disney World, just taking them to get.
Oh, I mean, the nugs are just perfect.
They're so good, but they put the one right by my house. And it's been 2 years. I've still not been. And part of it is it's just the line. It's like I don't want.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm gonna cross my morals, you have to make it very, very easy.
And it's like, you know, the chicken minis are good, but if I gotta wait like 30 minutes to eat them, you know, I can go get got a McDonald's right down the road. It's, you know, it's not ideal, but it gets the job done. So, you know,
yeah. Well, we should probably we can talk a little bit about basketball. I just discovered this thing. I'm sad I didn't know about it. We ran into each other at Summer League. We talked a lot about the Thunder. I didn't know you played a little college basketball at a small school in Oklahoma. That was very exciting. But also, I just found out like literally today that you had written this thing for the Ringer about the Tank Diaries. And I am obsessed with the Thunder and their decision to do the things they've been doing. And now I have to go back. I just read the last one where you were that was it. We got Josh Giddey.
I mean, a true flick to the dick, man. Just the worst. I mean, the whole season, I was like just begging for losses. Like, please lose every game. Like, you leave no doubt. Make sure you can get into,
you were a full convert.
Full convert.
Yeah.
And I still think it was the right move. Yeah. But shit, what a bummer. It was the lottery night was the worst night. And then leading up to the draft, there had been whispers like, oh, maybe they really like Evan Mobley. They might be, breaking the piggy bank for him. Let's see what's going to happen. And then that just nothing did. And then, Giddey's nice, but he's not, you're not waiting in line for Giddey. You know what I mean?
Well, you did. I mean, this was you in the 100-car Chick-fil-A queue.
It wasn't me.
And then, well, all right. It wasn't you. Yeah. You got to see him dunk once at Summer League. I still can't believe, I mean, not knowing anything. I mean, admittedly, I think we're both speaking from a certain level of ignorance about Josh Giddey's game. Like, totally. I don't believe anyone who says they know much about him, but like,
I agree completely.
It still felt like if you thought the other picks were safer, what are you saving all that money for? What are you saving all those assets for? Why didn't you break the piggy bank to move up one spot with the Magic? I mean, maybe the Magic weren't in. They're like, because the Magic have been terrible, and they were I assume thrilled to get Suggs, and they were like, listen, we don't.
I think once he fell, they're just like, we're good to go. I saw a theory from somebody somewhere. Can't remember. I apologize to whoever you are out there right now. But they said basically like, it's going to be much harder, I think, going forward to trade into that top three because the lottery odds have kind of been, dispersed,
flattened.
Flattened. That's the word. Yeah. Thank you. The teams are going to start there's no guarantee that you're going to be able to get into that top three. So when you are, you've got to make it count. And if you feel good about anybody up there, you just got to kind of cash in, I think. And that's, because I do think that they were probably making pretty substantial offers to get up there. I don't think it was a situation where they weren't trying to fork over as many draft picks as they could to, pique their interest. But I mean, I think that the Shea stuff was just a no-go, and I'm glad it was.
Do you think they were actually offering Shea Gilgeous-Alexander?
No,
deals?
I don't.
Okay.
No, I don't think they were. I think that'd
be weird.
I think that would be very stupid, and no, I don't think that. I think they probably tried to offer everything, but
right.
But yeah, I just can't imagine them offering. I mean, he's so good.
It's so good. It's the point. I deal with this. I think that's the point of tanking is to get Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Now you have one. Right. You keep them. When you have one, you keep them. I'm dealing with this on a much smaller scale with Grizzlies fans. Not even talking about great players. I'm just talking about good players. It's like, well, I'm just saying the Grizzlies in team building, when you get lucky with the draft pick, that helps your squad for 8-9 years. Right. And essentially I'm like, you already kind of hit the lottery, so to speak, with Dylan Brooks, with Desmond Bain, with Xavier Tillman, with Brandon Clark.
You took care of business and have these role players ready to go on cheap deals. Right.
Yes. Right. You already have you already have the team built around your big guys. And so I'm vaguely interested in all this Ben Simmons trade talk. I do think Ben Simmons would be kind of fun with John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. I think it would be great. We're overthinking it, but everyone's like, well, so then we would trade Dylan and Desmond and Kyle and Melton. I'm like, no. We're not trading any. You traded picks.
Yeah.
For me, I'm comfortable. I am not a Sam Presti. I am willing to use my future first round picks because my thought is we already got lucky. Like we already have 5 guys under contract for 3 to 5 years who we know are good. We have all these people. We already got lucky with draft picks. At this point, we know John Morant's good. Let's trade future first round picks. And that's where I think, again, going back to the Thunder thing, it's like you have Shea. That's the entire point of trying to be bad. He's going to be good for 10 years.
As much as I wanted us to lose every game, there are, texts of mine sent to my buddy who I text about the Thunder with. They're like, hey, what if we just went after Beal? Just try to, just like, or even like whenever all the Dame stuff was going around. And, Dame, he's a great player, but he caused me a lot of pain that one time. And so, I was like, that would be amazing. Those things do cross my mind, and I would not be upset if the trigger got pulled and that worked. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Presti's been so careful, but I'm with you. Like when you have a chance to put like a true blue contender out there that could win it. Yeah. That's kind of the time to go in.
Well, win is like, all right, Shea is what is it, like 23, 22, something like that. Let's looking at it, 23. So when is the time? Like, are we looking at another year of them trying to be bad? Of telling Shea, like, listen,
I mean, I certainly hope so, Keith.
Don't be too good.
We're terrible. I want, again,
you're going to be terrible?
I mean, I don't want to be losing a bunch, but I would love to be in that bottom 3 again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm terrified of the, like, Shea is not as good as Luka, obviously.
Right.
But Dallas got Luka.
Yeah.
And Luka was so good that they got good too quickly. And now their other, like, big money dude in Porzingis is hurt, and he's not able to be like a true number 2 on a great, great team. And they don't have that, like, that third guy, that other high lotto draft pick guy that you could hope could, bloom into something. And that is my concern with Shea, that, like, he's just going to be a little bit too good for us to get, like,
So the Mavericks analogy, I don't think it's apt because the Mavericks did a bad job of building around Luka. I mean, yes, maybe you could argue that they did make this swing, but they've also since then they've just done kind of weird stuff. Like,
no, I agree with that. I'm more just saying, like,
you don't want to be caught. You don't want to fire the cannons and then be like, oh, well, I'm the second. Now we're stuck. This is, again, it's all right. I can talk about the Grizzlies all the time. This is the thing we're talking about, Jaren Jackson Jr. extension.
Right.
And I'm like, well, guys, I know we think he's good, but if he turns out to end up not being as good as we thought, now John Morant is dragging around our own Porzingis. Like, Porzingis is good, but he's not your number 2 to win a title.
Right.
And so that's, like, again, that's kind of that's the fine line that all these teams have to walk. If you guys are still looking to be bad, is there any interest in taking on John Wall? John Wall and the Rockets are getting a divorce. John Wall, the worst contract in the NBA.
Yeah.
Maybe Kevin Love. I can't decide. It's right up there, but
it would be Kevin Love. You're right. I mean, he doesn't even want to. He can't even be bothered to throw the ball in bounds.
It's true. I can't believe that's still my favorite plays. No, so John Wall and the Rockets.
My favorite play is when Ja about baptized him his rookie year. Remember that?
Grizzlies lost that game. I'm sad.
Oh, I'm sorry, but that miss
was good. John Morant is the best missed dunker we've had.
He's
no one misses a dunk like him. No, right now the Rockets are in a weird spot because they're terrible. They don't really have a point guard, and yet John Wall's like, this is not the spot for me to rehab my value. And I mean, technically the front office went to him and like, hey, listen, this is our plan.
Yeah.
We want to keep you healthy, maintain your quote unquote trade value, but don't want you to get injured. So how about you not playing any games?
I mean, I get you want all the touches to go to Jalen Green and KPJ. I get that. It's like I totally get the move from the Rockets perspective. I don't know I do not want John Wall in the Thunder. I have no interest in that. but they're not too many teams that have have both the need and the money to make it the money on the books to make it happen. It just doesn't really exist.
There are zero teams.
And that's why I just can't imagine the Thunder would.
Also, the Rockets, you're terrible.
Yeah.
You can't be sending away picks to get rid of a player. Like you just have to eat that salary. I think this might be a bold solution. I think you take John Wall, maybe take Kevin Love.
Sure.
Maybe Ben Simmons. You let them reboot the Sonics. All right.
That's fine with me. If it's up to me, that's great.
How about Derek? I think the Thunder. You guys could probably give up Derek Favors. Maybe let Derek Favors be there.
Yeah. You know what?
Is he your starting five? Is he your starting five?
That's like the whispers. They think. Okay, I would love it if they just go full blown young dudes and like start JRE, even though he's a second round pick, and just like go full youth movement. But
that's the country western singer, right? Was it Rob something Earl? Jeremiah Roby Earl.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl.
Oh, yeah. Isaiah Roby. I messed that up. All right.
Isaiah Roby, though, was like Isaiah Roby. He's still on the roster. I don't know how much he's going to play. If they do get rid of Favors, he'll probably get like back up 5 minutes again. But yeah, please take Favors. Derek's a great guy. We love him here. He's a class act. He handles his business. But yeah, get him out of here.
Yeah, I'm so confused by the Rockets with there's nothing you can do with John Wall. There's no team for him to go to. There's no team.
It seems like it'll just want to just be like some weird like Trevor Ariza situation, or not what is it? Iguodala.
Some kind of thing like that. I don't know if
he's still going to have so much.
He
money
has
on
a
the books.
$47 million player option for next year. Like I don't.
Isn't he? And he's got another year after that, right?
Yeah. So this year. 21, 22, it's like 44. Next year, it's 47.6 player option.
Jeez, I bet he.
I mean, like you could imagine if he gives back.
I'd pick that up. Money's not everything, but I'd probably pick that up. Do so much good.
I mean, you're
that's
right.
Why I'd take it.
Right.
So much good.
I'm not greedy. I could give it to causes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, like I could see him ending up on a team if he agreed to some form of buyout, but it's like. Absent of that, a trade just seems farcical to think. There's no one who's punt like the only team I can imagine who would punt next year at this point. That's the Thunder. I mean, I assume the Thunder.
Yeah.
Are they're scheduling 2026 to be good? Is it?
Hopefully it's like 2020, maybe 2023. We have a little bit more fun. 2024. Hey, look at this. 4 seed. Okay.
Right. You guys will be paying Dort and Basley like $40 million a year by then.
We're not playing Basley anything if he can't shoot any better than he did last year, he can.
Oh, is Basley out?
He can if he didn't shoot any better than last year, and I like Basley, and I think he's like super duper skilled for as big as he is, and he's like kind of like a jacked 6'9" now, and can handle it well, and is pretty fluid, but he just couldn't hit anything last year. And if you told me that, the new Seattle team was desperate for him, that'd be fine.
Oh, Basley's so you're telling me
he's available.
He's available?
He's available.
If there wasn't,
what am I getting back?
All right. Hey, are you up and current on your roster right now? The Thunder. If we're doing an expansion draft,
who do I protect?
You can only protect. Let's go 6. Go 6 players.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna look at.
I mean, I know
obviously
you got Shea and Poku, right?
I mean, Shea Poku for sure. Those guys, Shea and Poku are. I mean, they're a part of my family at this point.
So Giddy, Poku, and Shea.
Yeah, you keep Giddy.
You can't give up Giddy. You spent a whole year getting him.
You're right.
You gave a year of your entire life.
You're right. I just have no emotional attachment.
No. I understand he's new. You can't lose him for nothing.
No, well, of course.
You donated a year of your prime and Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's prime.
That's true. I've given up. Honestly, you're right. I have given up too much to just let go of Giddy like that.
so we're protecting Shea and Poku and Giddy.
Shea, Poku, Giddy. Let's do Dort.
Yeah, I'd be offended if you left off Dort.
Jeremiah Robinson Earl for sure. I think he's going to be good.
So this your second rounder makes the cut. I'm surprised by this. Okay.
In summer league, I was pleasantly surprised. because he can catch and he can kind of go a little couple bounces to the rim, Keith.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I mean,
the Maladone? You're not leaving off Maladone?
I like Maladone. I mean, he's not like a gotta protect him at all costs. Honestly, this is stupid, but Kenrich is probably on there. I love Kenrich Williams.
You can't. You
I
can't
love
protect
him,
Kenrich. I mean, he is objectively the coolest guy on the Thunder.
I get that it's a stupid move, but sometimes you got to do stupid things in the name of love.
All right. But who are your other upside guys? I mean, Trey Mann, you took him in the first round.
Trey Mann would be the other guy. I mean, he's the other like big time upside dude. And honestly,
so I've got your
that's
six
kind of it in terms of like guys that could, like big swing type of dudes. I like Ty Jerome though.
Ty Jerome's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he knocked down some shots into the year last year.
Yeah, he's like
I think
deep three thing.
I think you found out he's a very dependable shooter in games where you're down 30. I think right?
Yeah, you want to be able to play loose, and he's really
I'm honestly surprised that there aren't more. I mean, for as much as the Thunder have been on this rebuild thing, I'm surprised there aren't more like big upside guys. I mean, honestly, the
it's really thing, it's really only been 1 year though of rebuilding.
It's true. Like, no, you guys were awesome 2 years ago.
It seems like it's been longer than that, just because everything has sucked so much.
That's right. The world has been awful and everything's slowed down. Awful. Yeah.
But it's really only been 1 year at tanking. That's part of the reason. That's part of the reason why I was a little surprised at some of the, and don't get me wrong, the Horford thing was egregious, and it made me laugh so hard that just they did that.
Yeah, they're like, "Hey, buddy, you got to quit
playing." I have no idea. It was so funny. Shit, I lost my train of thought just because I remember.
No, you were saying just because it's the 1 year. Right?
Yeah, because it was just the
novelty
like,
right now.
If it was, I get people being a little annoyed with, the Sixers process at the end of that or whatever. But when people were kind of getting up in arms about like, they're not even putting out a competitive team. Well, it's like, well, have you been watching the NBA at the end of the year?
I thought it was a weird one. I thought it was weird because it was a team that was again, had been good.
Right.
Like was surprisingly good. And you could tell
you're talking about 2 years ago or at the beginning of
2019, 2020 with Chris Paul. The team was shockingly good. And Presti in the preseason before that year had talked about how like the draft is the best way to build. And in my mind, he was outraged that you guys were good. And so
I think it was very unexpected.
Yeah.
I think he was surprised that Shea was as good as he was. Even then, he was surprised. I don't think they planned on that 3-point guard lineup working as well as it did. They had tried that before. Like Donovan had tried that before in years past with Russ and Felton and whoever. But like it was. I think that there were a lot of surprise. I mean, Gallo was really good that year. I mean, Gallo was really good for.
And so I guess the way it bothered me, they had already filled up the treasure chest of draft picks because of the Paul George deal and because of the Chris Paul deal. They already had all these draft picks and they were one game away from the second round of the playoffs.
I think,
and they're like, we have to restart this all to get Josh Giddey. And that part of it, I'm like,
you're
already pretty good. Like you're good.
Shitty for
all these picks.
Shitty for Giddey, man. Shitty for Giddey.
So then when they're like, and then when they started last season and they were surprisingly frisky. Because it's like, hey, Al Horford's good. Shea is great. And they're like, no, I hate that. Like Presti was like, no, we're done. We're even too good for this. Like we have to play Svi 30 minutes a game.
God, I'm a high Luke, man. It was weird how much I started to be like, hey, look at Svi. He's not bad. He's not even on the team this year,
I know.
You just like get emotionally attached to guys. You're like, hey, Svi can do some stuff off the bounce,
Right.
Svi not brought back. I think part of it was I don't think Chris Paul had any interest in staying a second year in Oklahoma City.
Sure.
I think he was like, look, I've
Yeah.
rehabbed my image and people see how good I am again.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. I mean, it was not, you could go back. I would love to go back and look and see the amount of minutes between when the final buzzer sounded in Game 7 against the Rockets and when Chris Paul put out basically a goodbye video like in the like before he got on the van.
Oh yeah, you have those pre-edited, right? You got to pay a guy to make that.
I mean, it was like right after the game, but it was very much like it was like there was some sort of agreement in place where it's like, yeah, we after this year we'll get you out of here. So I think that that made the decision a lot easier.
Right.
But yeah, I think even at the beginning of this year, we were winning too much. I mean, we weren't winning a lot, but we were winning too much in the eyes of, the pro tankers.
Right.
Because Horford was, so solid.
I mean, and again, I recognize that this is the league's fault for creating these incentives.
Right. I know, get people,
the league made this problem, but it was very weird to see a team be like kind of good. And then to be like, yeah, Shea's he's got plantar fasciitis, and I'm like, I don't believe you. And then it's like,
well, he did have something because I would agree with that if he had played for Canada in the like Olympic qualifying stuff.
All right,
and he didn't play for
Still
Canada.
Sore. Yeah, got to keep that cover story going.
Look, man,
I predicted that Shea would get shut down like a week before he got shut down. If he actually got a real injury, that's just a great coincidence. Just a great coincidence.
Man, you can't be too careful, Keith. The body is a fragile thing. It's a temple.
It's true. Well, so a lot of forward-thinking front offices are doing this. They're holding their guys out. Like they're not playing back-to-backs with their 22-year-olds.
I would get the outrage if people hadn't been doing this for so many years. Like I agree that the Thunder doing it was ridiculous and blatant and right out in the open and not in the spirit of competition, but it's been going on for a while.
They're not the first one. They won't be the last one. I'm just more if you can be good and then get lucky and then get lucky in the lottery, that's great. But then to guarantee you're going to be bad and then get unlucky in the lottery, well, that's not any fun.
It's why the Thunder were the one team that voted against lottery reform whenever it went down. I mean,
No, and also totally understand they'd be mad about that. They were like, we had these rules that have been the rules for a long time. And y'all want to? Yeah. Presti's like, I really scheduled in a year to be terrible and I didn't get it last year. And now you're going to make it even harder on me. Oh, that's too bad. Well, anyway, Tyler, thanks so much for coming on. Always
thanks for having me, man. This was great.
Fun to chat about. I got to get over it though. Cause like
you're obsessed with the Thunder.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with criticizing the Thunder, and I just got to let it go. I know.
Oh, do you have like a is it like a vendetta? Is it like a thing you return to in like episode after episode?
Yeah, I mean the brazenness of like my philosophy is like just get to the second round of the playoffs,
right?
Because then anything can happen. Like we've seen the Suns make the finals, the Heat make the finals, the Raptors win the title. And it's like, and to have a squad that had so many future picks already in the bank, and then to be like, hey, we're not even going to field a squad. Like we're going to lose by 50. We're going to have 3-man lineups with a -70 net rating. We've never seen that before in the NBA. We're just going to do it.
I think that if those picks had been better, but they were all, it's like the Heat and it's the Clippers and it's the Nuggets and stuff. And so I don't think they were. I don't think they were confident that those picks were going to be high enough that they would be,
I do like
replacement level.
I do like that Presti, after feeling the surge, the rush of trading for multiple first round picks, I don't think trading for seconds does it for him anymore.
Oh, not at all.
I think like the Lakers were like, hey, we need somebody to take Gasol's salary. We'll give you one second. And he's like, 1 second? That doesn't make me feel anything. I
don't get out of bed for anything.
That's right. There's no buzz there. And people are like,
give me a lottery protected first round pick, or I'm not even putting on pants.
Yeah. And he's like, listen, I got 17 firsts, man. After you've had that high, I'm sorry, man. Protected seconds just don't do it for me anymore. But anyway,
that's so funny.
Tyler, thanks a bunch, and I look forward to the next time.
Yeah, man. You too.
All right. Thanks, dude.
Dude, thank you. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Good stuff.